guys, Gabby from Fire Bros. Today, it's going to be a pretty big day for me. I told you when I did the roof, if you watched the previous videos, I had a surprise coming. So I've been trying to figure out how I was going to do this. I want to keep my drip rails, but I do not like this giant gap with where the sheet metal comes together. I've always kind of thought it looked sloppy and incomplete. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to cut this all the way back. I don't know if you can see this. I'll do a close-up. There's a body line here on the roof. I want to cut all the way back, and then I'm going to take this rain gutter that's here and I'm going to weld it solid into that body gap and then shape it that way. It still has the rain gutter, but it doesn't have this huge gap. We'll see how it turns out, but you'll never know if you don't try. So let's go. I'm gonna get this camera a little closer so you can see this. But here's the body line that I was talking about. And it goes all the way down the roof into the corner panel and then fades off right here where this is gonna fade off. So, let me get in here a little further. So if you look into here, it's where the roof usually gets welded right here, and I think they seam seal it or whatever. I might have some work to do there, but anyway, if you're looking into the rain gutter here, you can see this is where the roof meets the rain gutters, gets welded in. That's what holds it all in there. I just want to get rid of this, and there's the body line I'm going to weld it to. I'm just going to flush them out this, and hopefully it'll look good. So let's go ahead and get going with it, and we'll find out soon. So step one in this is I'm going to cut the rain gutter off. I don't want to get too close to the rain gutter, so I'm going to cut back on the body line. I will say this, if you have an old roof and an old rain gutter, cut sections at a time. There's a brand new roof, brand new rain gutters. These are not even welded in here. They're just sitting there. If they have any gaps or whatever, I'll use body clamps, clamp it down before I weld. But don't get too close to these rain gutters and cut the back of them and deform them. So I've already done the other side in practice. So that's the biggest thing I took away from that. So. You can see I got the initial cut done. Really took my time not to get into this body line. You see a few scratches, but it's good. We've got a little gap here that we're gonna have to pull in. My biggest thing was trying to get these two panels to line up so when this sits on here, it doesn't have a wave or whatever. So I had to use a clamp and had to do a little grinding right here where the roof met the panel to pull that in, but it pulled in real nice. So the next thing I'm gonna go through with a flapper, get all this nice and flat, kind of finish this off. And I might use my die grinder with the flapper on here just to have better control. So if you got using your big angle grinder, you can get in this metal real fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some bits changed out and get a flapper on here and make that nice and smooth. Okay guys, so the next step in this is I'm going to go through, I'm going to weld this in a couple spots, get it strong, get it to hold up here. I'm not going to weld it solid yet until I get the rain gutter on here because it's got to be re-welded on the bottom too. So I'm going to go through and weld this in a bunch of spots, get it nice and strong. Then I got to come back and grind it off to keep it flat so that rain gutter sits nice and flat. But when the rain gutter gets on here, we'll weld this all the way solid on the bottom. So we got a nice tight seal. This will all be, once that's welded, this will all be weather tight in here too. Then the top, we're just going to spot weld in different spots because this is down here will be weather. So if you weld too much at the top, it'll deform your rain gutters, which I did on that side, and I'm going to have to figure out how to fix it. But anyway, hopefully this comes out a little bit better this time. You see, I got this all welded solid now. Now I'm going to come back, grind it, get it all level again. Anyway, that took me about half an hour, 40 minutes to get that welded, little spots at a time all the way around, trying not to overheat it. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool till it's cool to the touch. I don't want to start putting more heat on it with grinding. So I'll give it a second and then I'll come back and grind this. And then we'll start getting that gutter mounted with that body line, or that little, I don't know what they call that. I guess it's the rain gutter body line and the roof. So you can see I took my flapper disc and kind of went, roughed it in. There's still quite a bit of quite a bit of metal to grind off here, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the die grinder with about a 120 grit on it, and I'll finish it off. That way I don't want to get into this metal, so I want to keep this shape here. So I'll go ahead and get the die grinder set up with a 120, or I think it's 120 grit sandpaper on it, and I'll finish these welds off, and we should be ready. Okay, so we've got all this ground down and welded. I took the rain gutter, went over to my bench grinder, ground off all the remaining metal from when we cut this off. So the next thing I'm going to do is start getting my placement, and if you can see where the natural bump out is of the roof panel and it goes down to the fender, I'm going to try to line this up with the top of that. And then the reason I have this clamp is so I can see exactly where I need to put this to where I don't have a big gap in there. So I'm just going to weld that right there and work my way around, put some clamps on it, and make sure it's all in place, and we'll go from there. Yeah, as you can see, I have this lined up, and I've got some spot welds in here now. I've got it shaped real well. I took my hammer, kind of worked as I went along. I'm going to put a weld in probably every 3 or 4 inches, and then I'm going to weld the bottom, and I'm going to leave the top. I want the shape, and when you start welding this too much, it'll take your shape away. So let's get that. Let me get that done, and then we'll see what that looks like. And now that we got the top in place, I was going to do like every 3 inches. I did like every 1.5 inches, every inch, all the way around. I got to come back, get the bottom all pushed in and welded in, and then we can come back and grind. I have a certain way I want to grind these, so we'll go over that when it's time. But got to get this bottom welded in, and should be pretty close. So we've got most of the welding done now. Welded the top every 1.5 inches or so. The whole bottom's welded solid now. I'm going to go take the grinder, and I'm using a flapper disc to shape the bottom of this to get it pretty close to the shape I want it. And then the top, I'm going to take my die grinder with a metal cutting bit, and then I'll shape these. So I'll go through that when we come to that. So when I'm grinding these spot welds on top of here to get this kind of even, I just take my die grinder with a normal cutting blade, and I just take it like this, and I get on these spot welds. Just lightly shape those to where it's rounded on the top of these. That way we don't lose too much shape in these. So we'll keep working our way around this. There's a few right in here that are bad. So I've kind of got most of these now. Just wanted to show you exactly how I was doing these. So that'll grind down and give it a nice smooth look with that body line right there. And then the bottoms, I'll go back with my die grinder and flapper disc. And then I'll go through and I'll hit these like this and get that nice and smooth also. So I'll do a quick speed up of all that. Just wanted you to know how I was doing this. It's really simple, it's just time consuming. So I get in there and this bottom's welded totally solid now. The top's just spot weld. So I'll go through, smooth all this out here. You can see I've already done this, but there's a video of this too, so I'll connect that here. So what I did with these is I cut off the excess. That's a one big piece, and I cut off the excess here, sized it to fit, cut it down flush like the rest of this top, ground it down, welded it, put the new piece over the new rain gutter, welded the bottom solid, spot welded the top. As you can see, did the same thing with the die grinder with the cutting bit. I went and cut those spot welds all across the top, and then I went back with the die grinder and with the flapper disc and cleaned up the bottom. So it's a real clean look now. You can see that it's really coming together. I got some really rough stuff here I gotta still work out, but it's looking really clean to me. It might not be for everybody. It was a ton of work. It's hours and hours and hours. I don't know how many hours I'm into this, but it's got to be close to 20 to 30 hours just in both sides of the rain gutters. And it's not done. I still, like I said, have some cleanup to do along the bottom. So then when I start doing the body work, I'm gonna have to do some body work and filler and smooth this all in. And so I don't know if it's something you want to do. It's not easy. Takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but I think it looks really clean when it's done. But that's just me. But anyway, let's finish grinding this off, and we should be done until body work time. On my mind, I'm not playing. On my mind, I'm not playing.